Okay, there I go. Okay, if you want to get it.
No, that's okay. I'll get the signs and bring.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, how are you? We're cool.
Almost tripped myself coming in.
Don't fall. Don't want to lose you. Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Morning.
You can just start talking. I think I already got the one.
Okay. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to have you here today in this first, in the morning here in Wednesday. I hope that you guys had your coffee from Barney's. So as many of you know, 1 Million Cups is a Kauffman initiative. This is an event for free. We really want to give a heads up to all our sponsors, Barney's Coffee, Roland's for giving us this great place to do the presentations. And before we head out, I also want to present our organizers, Angela Kendall, David Pankros, Rudy Ellis, that he's actually with the camera, so a big shout out to them. Also Nancy, I don't want to get better last name. Alpers, right, she had the cool last name. And also Ron Benziv, who's actually out in Europe at this point in time, having a great time, so if you can see us. Okay, he's pitching his startup, so yeah, he's doing some work over there. So yeah, so I said it's a Kauffman initiative, and our organizer, let me see, who do we have first? Will it be Talent? Okay, Talent4Startups. So if I could then give you a big heads up for him. Here, you got the microphone.
Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for being here. My name is Rajiv Menon. I'm the founder of Talent4Startups. I'm also the founder of Informulate, which is a software, web, and mobile development company. Mike and Jesus are my two guys who work on Informulate, and they're also helping with this initiative. So first off, thanks to our sponsors. Waco is a recruiting and placement company who's helped us a lot and been involved from the early stages. Sevenality helped us with our branding and design. And Lean Startup Practitioners is a meetup group that I run locally. It is we meet monthly and we talk about lean and agile practices there. So what is Talent4Startups? How many people here know about Startup Weekend? Yeah, I guess everybody should. They hold it here quite often. So we are very much like that. So you want to think of us as Startup Weekend, online and permanent and going on as long as you need in order for you to execute your ideas. We are a free online matchmaking platform. We help connect startups, founders with talent which wants to get experience. It's a symbiotic relationship for them to get together, collaborate on projects, and take their ideas to fruition. We are high on community values, so it's a lot about collaboration and helping each other grow rather than competition. And we are a nonprofit, so from our perspective, it's more about sustainability than profit or something like that. I was told to use a story, so I'm going to use one. Here's a little story about Jack and Diane, two American kids born in the heartland. So let's assume these characters are real. Maybe John Mellencamp thinks they're real, but they're two kids graduated in 2012 from the same university. Let's say they have the same GPA, they have the same IQ, they even graduated in the same major, which is business, right? However, 3 years later, this year, they are in very different positions. Well, Jack is a recruiter making about $38,000 a year, whereas Diane has moved on to become a business analyst making $65,000 a year, and Jack's not likely to see that for a few years yet. So what happened? Well, Jack graduated, became a barista. That's all he could find during 2012. Went on to become a multi-level marketer, did some time as a loan mortgage processor, and now he's a recruiter. Diane had a much more interesting journey. When she was yet a student, she took part in a startup weekend. She had a team which made and sold interesting t-shirts. She kept that going for 18 months. She ended up, at the end of that, making $722 and split that by 4 for her teammates. Wasn't a big deal. But as a result of that experience, she was actually involved in a variety of things, and she picked up very valuable experience. She was able to get in touch and she'd do sales. She was involved in setting up the website. She picked up a lot of little interesting pieces of experience. And one of her retailers that she worked with actually offered her a job. She went on to take that, 12 bucks an hour, not a life changer, but she picked up, again, valuable experience in dealing with IT vendors. That experience and those connections helped her get placed as soon as she graduated. And she got a job as a tester analyst, and then she went on 2 years later to move on to her current role. So what was different about Diane? Was there something different about her? Well, she's obviously better looking, but there has to be something else. And let's think about what that something else could be. Let's take a look at some statistics. In 2012, 52% of fresh grads had not received a job offer in the field of their study for greater than 6 months. And we can guess which half of that Jack was in and which half of that Diane was in. Another statistic which was very surprising to me was 4.7 out of 9 million unemployed had a college degree, which means they were educated and they still didn't have a job. So the majority of people actually had a college degree. Yet, in 2013, we had 3 million unfilled jobs. 2014, we had 4 million unfilled jobs, even while unemployment was really high. How do you explain that? The experience gap is real. If you have the experience, you have the skills, and you're in the right place, you will have a job. And if not, there's going to be unfilled jobs that are actually dragging the economy down, trying to get people placed, but it's not happening because we don't have the right role, a resource for the right role. At the same time, some of the biggest job creators are actually startups and small business. We keep hearing that all the time. But actually, startups are more so, and they punch way above their weight in terms of employment. They create 20% of jobs, and in the current economic climate, they're faster and easier to start a startup. Earlier, it used to be you need a lot of investment, you need a lot of people to be your founding team. The size of the startup founding team has shrunk every decade, and it's the smallest and easiest it's ever been. So that's encouraging signs. So those are all the clues about what we decided to focus on, right? What does that mean? Business disruption is ongoing. It's unstoppable, right? Globalization can't be rolled back. Demand patterns in terms of the types of skills will continue to shift. And that places a serious amount of pressure on the workforce. And for students especially, because they're the ones who have the least amount of experience. Another thing that's interesting is if you look at the research done, the initial job that the student gets right out of college has a huge influence on their career trajectory. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So what can be done about it? A study that we came across talked about network openness, which is apparently, according to this researcher, the single biggest predictor of your career success is how open your networks are. Are you closed, insular, and you're kind of connected with the same people who are like you? Or are you broader, and do you have networks across different demographics and different types of people in different age groups and things like that? So what would Diane do? What did she do? She broke out of her closed network. She created connections outside, right? She grabbed the opportunities that came her way. She created relationships through deliverables. That's the key word. It's not just getting connected with somebody on LinkedIn. It's about creating relations through deliverables. She got and leveraged the experience at each level. As soon as she grabbed one piece of experience, she went on, maximized that opportunity, went to the next one. And her openness and her ability to be connected at each stage gave her control of her career path. So think of it as opening a door, finding a bunch of doors, and having your choice of doors to be opened for the next level. How can Talent4Startups do that? Our idea is to scale Diane's career path. We want to have that happen for everybody. That's our mission, right? We work on both sides of the equation. We help improve the quality of the workforce so that people like Diane can come in, find projects that they want to work on, network through working, right? Not just network through a social network, but network through projects. And on the other side, we're helping startups who may not, who are trying to get out of the level 0 problem where they don't have a product. Because they don't have a product yet, they can't get funding, and because they don't have funding, they can't build a product. So now they can collaborate with students and other people, get their idea off the ground, and so it's helping both sides of that equation. As I said, it's networking and learning through doing, not just talking, right? And you get back control of your career trajectory. A lot of times what happens with people who get into jobs, their decisions are made for them by their employer, right? The employer decides what you work on, what projects you do. We're taking that control back and giving it to the career-oriented talent. If they know what they want to do, they have a way of getting it now. All right, so this is what we built. We have, it's called a minimum viable product for those familiar with the lean lingo. Our first version has these features. Tagged profiles, so the first main feature is for people to come in, create profiles, tag themselves with what I can offer. And similarly, startups would tag themselves with what they need. And we make that matchmaking happen for you. The ability with the tags is that we could get very, very granular. So it's not just, hey, I want to be a front-end developer. Not just I want to be a JavaScript developer, but what platform in JavaScript. So you can be very specific about I'm looking for this specific experience that'll help me in my career. So it's very targeted. We have LinkedIn integration, which makes it easy for you to share things and spread the word, and ease of use for you to come in and create a profile. We have ratings, which is very important to have accountability and quality for people to come back and also know who they're dealing with when you see their ratings. Community culture, again, is very important. We are very much, we're not like the Elances, and we're not like the others where you're coming in, hey, I'm a guru, I'm the rock star, be my partner. It's more about I'm here to learn, and I'm here to contribute, and it's about bringing your time and helping other teams succeed. All right, so let's see how we did that. I'll call Mike and Jesus up on stage to demo a little piece for you.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike. Thank you, Rajiv. This is Jesus. We kind of introduced ourselves here at the beginning. So I've been told to make this fast. I'll try to speak quickly. But here for the first phase of this platform, we wanted to really emphasize connectivity and ease of use. So with that, we developed this great integration with LinkedIn that we think will help both the startups and the talent really jump in this platform here with all cylinders running and start engaging and meeting with other people. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to log in and see our startup profile. And this is where we would, of course, describe our startup, what we're trying to do, but also start to define the needs and the roles that we think will be required in order to execute our idea. Give it a few seconds here. Here we go. So this is our startup profile. You can see here we got just a couple basic pieces of information, and also with the roles and everything. And as Rajiv mentioned, we also have the granular tag level matchmaking, so that we can really get those quality matches between the talent and the startups. So now we have our talent sort of defined here. We can jump over and start using some of the search features to find talent that might help us out. So here we go. I'm looking at a talent profile here, and this might be someone who could help me out in my startup. So I'm going to go ahead and send them an invite. From here, we could also start the messaging discussion back and forth and start engaging that way. So on the flip side, this is also true. If you're a talent logging in, you have the same access to the search features and everything. That lets you find startups that have needs that might fit your skill set. So what does this all mean? Once a talent joins or applies to join one of the startups here, we can approve them and get the team rolling. For this first phase, we don't have any project management or task collaboration features or anything like that. We figured that was best left for some of the other tools like GitHub, Google Hangouts, Skype, Jira, that sort of thing. So we're really focused here on building the team, setting the team members, and then sort of taking the collaboration over to the next step.
I hate to do this, but we got to wrap up and move on to the Q&A. We can start asking questions about this during Q&A, but we're going to have to. Okay. I think we're already over 9 minutes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Thanks.
Okay, I have the first question for you.
Yes.
Could you finish going over that really quickly for me?
Jesus, can you keep going?
Yeah, really quick. I have a question that's going to give you a 1-minute answer to complete that demo for me, because I'm actually logged into your site right now using it.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jesus. Which part do you want us to bring up?
Starting creating your startup on here and finding talent.
Okay, so you want to find talent?
I want to create this because what I realized is I didn't see anything. There were some startups listed, so I need to add my startup.
Right.
And then I've got to find talent for it because I want to invite them to it.
Correct.
Okay. Can you really quickly demo that so that other people see this?
Sure.
And it's going to help you
Jesus,
guys?
can you go to your profile and create a new startup profile? There you go. So you have a new startup button there. And you would click that to describe what your startup is, put a nice image if you'd like, and then you can say, these are the roles I need in my startup to make this work. And you can be very specific, what kind of person, designer, developer, project manager, business person, marketing, etc. And for each role, you can further tag and say, I want this specific skills, Google Analytics, etc. So you can be very specific about that. Now, it doesn't limit you. You can still go back and broaden your searches. When you go back to the talent search, you can broaden it out and say, I want to see everybody, or you can get fine-grained. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Raise your hand if anybody has questions.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Rajiv? So you talked about your network too, and based on deliverables. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what type of deliverables have you found, especially in this context, helps you build that network?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for us, we've actually lived this whole thing ourselves, right? So we've worked with volunteers, we worked with collaborators, and we've taken a year and a half to get to where we are because we didn't actually go in and spend a whole bunch of money on building this. And what we did was we found people that were working, they had certain skills to offer. We gave them visibility on our site through contributors and other things like that. The deliverables are basically between the founder and the person who's on the team. So it's not something you put on the site. You don't say, hey, do this task for me. Like Mike was saying, we don't have task management and that kind of stuff because there's a lot of apps that do that. We don't want to rebuild the wheel for that. So you would go onto that platform, you would create your tasks, and you would assign them out just as you would normally on a project. Our application is just focused really on the matchmaking, the accountability, and we're actually coming up there. I'll have a slide later on. Can you bring up the slide for our future features, Jesus? We have a bunch of features coming up for phase 2 and 3, which are a knowledge base and a lot of other features to help support that community and help them be successful. Yeah. Who's got the mic?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
You got it? Okay. So in terms, I get the point of how you, if I'm a startup, how I register myself, but in terms of finding the talent itself, are you actually scraping or going through LinkedIn and pulling the profiles that match those keywords? Or is it up to each and every technician or programmer to go in, register themselves, and basically almost start their own social network again?
That's a great question. We don't have the ability to pull in connections, or at least we haven't had it so far. But with our LinkedIn integration, we're able to do that. We're able to send invites to people to come and join our network as well. They wouldn't come in by default connected because unless even though you might know someone, you might not be on their team. So this is just basically an invitation and a growth scheme rather than getting them into your team. Did that answer your question, or what was your question exactly? That we're trying to replicate a social network? Because this is not so much a social network as it is, project network. Okay.
Bring your hands way up if you have a question, so we can see them.
What's your model to generate revenue?
Good question. So as I mentioned, we're a nonprofit, and we spent a year and a half trying to figure out what's the right way to build this thing. We started off as a mentorship platform, and we found certain issues with that model that doesn't scale. But for us, it's about sustainability. Right now we are supported by sponsors and ads. We have Google Ads set up. In the future, we have a variety of different ways to monetize. We have a freemium model. We have the ability to create a marketplace out of this if we have enough people. And the initial stage is always going to be trying to build that network. But once we have that, we will have people maybe coming in as experts, selling their services, a variety of different things like mentors, coaches, etc., coming on the platform.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. So 2 questions. Who is your competition, and how are you different than them?
So we found quite a few people who are active in this space, but we are trying to replicate Startup Weekend online as much as possible. They're an event, they're a physical event, but there are websites that do similar things. Collab Finder, Co-Founders Lab are other sites that do something similar. Our focus and our niche is very different. It's very specific to the level 0 problem that I was talking about. We're not talking about experts who are doing founder dating. We're talking about people trying to learn and do things together and collaborate. So Co-Founders Lab is about people who are really good at what they do and they want to get together and build awesome things. This is for people to figure things out. Yeah.
On the first numbers look like where your investors or funders are going to be happy? What do those numbers look like?
That's a good question. So we don't, I don't usually project like that. I follow lean startup, and that's not to say projections are bad, but it's more that we're trying to figure out what our space is. So we're looking at this. I said we've had hundreds of interviews, we've done a lot of market research, and we're at the point where this is an MVP, it's an experiment. So we're putting it out there. We're going to it's a soft launch today, actually. So we're launching today. Thank you.
So everybody go sign up and find a startup.
Yeah, everybody please go sign up. And we're going to be doing this at a couple of events. We're going to see how the metrics are, and then we're going to roll out additional features. We're going to have analytics and everything like that to analyze what the user base is doing, how they're collaborating, what they need, and then project from there. So it's a very low budget launch initially. And we're going to reinvest based on the areas that need investing. We don't need a lot to be profitable and successful because our expenses are very low in terms of numbers. Even if we had a few thousand people register, that would be sufficient for us to sustain.
I have a quick question.
Oh. You go ahead. I have another one too.
So have you thought about providing this to the incubators, all of those, kind of in a white label platform that they could just use the background to replicate what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. And I did have some conversations with the UCF incubator. Forget the name of the lady I spoke to. Sorry if you're watching. But they do have similar platforms. They have mentorship matching platforms that they use, and they've got that where it's kind of customized to their environment. It is a closed environment, so I was trying to tell them that it's better to be in an open environment where you can cross-fertilize easier, and I'm still trying to sell that. But yeah, that's a possibility we're looking at. We're looking at a bunch of different people in this ecosystem, so we're trying to make that ecosystem connect better with each other. We're trying to pull in mentors. We're trying to pull in all of those resources to make this a success, so we need everybody's help.
The quick question I had was, what do you feel what's your killer feature?
Simplicity, I think. It's really simple to get on. It's very easy. There's no reason you shouldn't do it. All you need is time. You don't need to come in and spend a lot of money or anything like that. It's very easy to get on and get started. And there's really a lot of reward for very little risk for people to get on.
Hi. Me again.
Yeah.
2 questions. Sorry, I operate in twos. If you got the funding, right? So question is, how much funding are you looking for? And when you get it, what are you going to do with it? So I guess it's 3 questions. And then third, how are you going to market this?
So marketing actually has turned out to be very good because a lot of people, I mean, pretty much everybody I've talked to has been very supportive of the idea. They have come out and they said, we'll open up our email list to you, we'll open up our social media for you, just get it out there. People are, I mean, I've took this on the road with job fairs. Jason Wade is somewhere, Upstart Expo, yeah, thank you. He allowed us to get in there free and pitch our thing, and there's a lot of people coming out and helping us support this, which is great, and we need a lot of that to make this successful. If we get the funding, it'll be more to develop the features, make it more scalable, and yeah, we could do some marketing, but I think it's basically about getting the connections in the community that's really going to drive that growth.
Okay, I'm just going to plant a couple seeds. I have these sound bites that you flesh out in life. If it's not your genius, it's not your job. The key to identifying who you are is knowing what your genius is. The other thing is magnets. To attract in the level of the talent that you want to bring in, the magnets are the people that you add to your team, even if it's through virtual bios. That cues the word virtual. There's a whole world of virtual CFOs and virtual COOs and so there are opportunities that you can go off to help people to build a virtual team that will help attract the capital and the resources. And you're trying to attract resources right now, not capital so much. So whatever those 3 seeds did, honored, great presentation.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was trying to keep up with that. What are the 3 C's again?
Magnets, those are the people that are on your team. Thank you. Yeah, Ron would jump on me without the mic. Magnets, those are the people that are on your team.
Yeah.
Because your team is a core team. With 3, you're free. With 5, you thrive. With 7, you're either in heaven or you formed a committee. The rest of it is the virtual world. There's a virtual world of team members because a lot of startups can't afford a CFO. They can't afford a COO, but they can get virtual ones. They can give a percentage of their company away in exchange for that talent to be there as for overview and perspective. And what was the other one? If it's not your genius, it's not your job. So by identifying to us your genius, you've just identified what separates you from everybody else.
Okay. So the first one was our core team. Yeah, we have a core team, and we're all in the technology space. As I said, I'm the founder of Informulate. We actually help startups all the time, and I'm active in a lot of the startup communities here. I run the startup meetup. So that's a way for us to get the word out, and also it gives us experience about how that works. And we've all worked on tech projects, so it's not necessarily tech-centric, but that is a place that lends itself to this naturally. On the second question about how we're drawing people in, I think we have a real level 0 problem here because when you go to a startup weekends, you see the energy there. A lot of people are trying to do these things and they're volunteering their time to do it. It's a very passionate thing if you're a founder. You want to get this idea out there. You want to build it. You want to make it happen. So that's a natural way that will draw people into this platform. And for students, the number one thing is, hey, you've got student loans, I've got all this stuff, I've got to figure out my career path, and I got to figure out quickly. Like I said, it was very amazing. 19 out of 20 people at one event signed up right there when I talked to the students about it. So there's a lot of energy there. I think that is, we just need to get the word out and let people know it's not a hard sell. The third question, I kind of messed again, sorry. What was the third question? My genius. That's a good question. I don't know. I guess I like helping people. I like making a difference, and I've been active in the community for a few years now, and I see this as a way to continue to do that. It's very easy, as I said, simple, low cost, and it's a big problem we're trying to solve. There's unemployment. There's students trying to get jobs, startups trying to get things, trying to get funding. Those are big problems, and I think there's a very simple solution for that. It's not going to solve everything, but it's going to help them get past the first stage.
So in the spirit of 1 million cups, we're going to ask you our final question, which is, on the day of your soft launch, what is it that we can best do to serve you and help you grow?
Yeah, let me just go to the next slide here because I came prepared.
Good job.
We have a lot of asks. We need a lot of help. As I said, this is very much a community initiative. A lot of people have helped us to get where we are, and here are some of the things we need. First of all, if you're a startup founder, put your hands up, please. Please come on our platform and get some help. And for the students in the room who are trying to figure out their career paths, students, a few of them, yeah, please get on the platform and figure things out for yourself as well. It gives you a lot of control, as you'll see. Second, give us feedback. Please get on the platform and talk to us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, how we can get better. Sponsors. We need a lot of sponsors. We have only 2 paying sponsors at the moment. We need at least 3 more to get us to our revenue targets for the year. So there's still room to get a lot of visibility in front of a lot of people because I'll be pitching this at a lot of events. Volunteering, yeah, we need help building the platform. If you want to volunteer to help our platform, we need a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. We need mentors to come on. We need developers. Spread the word. Mailing lists. Open your mailing list to us, please. If you think your constituents in your mailing list will benefit from this, please let us know. Social media, share us, tweet us, and there's events coming up that you could help us come and pitch this in front of people that you're wanting us to pitch for. Send us money, sponsors, yeah.
Great job. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
So as David does our changeover, I'm going to talk to you guys for a second. First of all, I want to ask what we try and ask every week. Who all are here from the first time? Wow, great. Thank you, whoever invited these new folks. It's great to see people coming in and joining our group. We're growing, it seems like, exponentially. And we are a community-based foundation, as Jan said at the beginning. So we count on you. Bring a friend every week. It's a great environment, great place to network. I always tell people, not necessarily directly from people in this room, but by degrees of separation, I've earned more business through this initiative than any other networking platform in the community that I have found, because I think we're all very open to that spirit of co-opetition that we talked about, and being able to work together and develop and grow each other's businesses. So I really enjoy being a part of this group, and I hope you'll invite people. I want to again mention our sponsors. Rudy Joycaster every week comes and makes sure that Orlando is the only, I believe, group that has regular, on the East Coast, that does a live streaming feed of our event every week. So that's great, and we should be really proud of that. We are in 50 states through the Kauffman Foundation, is that correct? And Alaska to Puerto Rico. Once you present here, you are eligible to present across the nation. So you can go to other Kauffman Foundations if you need to spread yourself geographically. Yeah, help me out, David, here, in case I miss anything.
It's called the Passport Program. Once you present here or at any 1 Million Cups, you're eligible to basically have a passport to any other 1 Million Cups location. So if you want to take your show on the road, no one pays for you, but you're welcome to go to Tampa, to Miami, if you want to stay local, relatively local, or if you want to take a trip to Alaska, take a trip to Puerto Rico, make a vacation out of it. There's a lot of great places, especially, shout out to Kansas City.
Hi, Nancy.
Colorado's got the Denver area has 3 1 Million Cups in the general vicinity, so there's lots of great opportunities.
And speaking of presenting and opportunities, we do have an opening next week for a presenter. So if you have a startup of any kind, please remember this is Guppy Tank, not Shark Tank. You do not have to be 100% prepared. We are here to support you. This will be the most supportive environment that you can present in, with people wanting to help you execute your presentations even better, and we'll come to you afterwards and provide those resources.
And no one ever feels 100% prepared. So do not think that you're 100% prepared.
So go to the 1 Million Cups Orlando website and fill out the presentation request, and we will get back to you ASAP and let you know if it's a fit.
And along that lines, if you're interested in filling in a slot next week, come up to one of us and tell us so we can fast track you.
Yeah.
That will help. Or if you're scheduled, if you have a startup that's already scheduled at 1 Million Cups and you want to move up, come up to us and tell us that too, and we can bump you up.
And as I'm thanking sponsors again, I also want to thank Barney's Coffee. I don't function without caffeine, so I love them very much. So please send out social love. And then the last sponsor I want to mention is the Rollins Entrepreneurial Center, specifically because they have a venture plan competition that's coming up, and today they have an application workshop from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Crumner Room 223. So if you are looking to get some seed funding, you may want to go to this workshop and figure out how to present to their organization. Their application deadlines, February 15th. They're giving away potentially $25,000 in seed funding to a startup, and the total prize pool last year was over $50,000. They'll be doing live presentations March 23rd through the 27th. So let's give them some social love to all of our sponsors, and then support them and share that information with anyone you know that's seeking funding, because I think it's really important that we collaborate back and forth. Yeah, Joel, hey. I do not specifically know, but if you go to the Rollins Entrepreneurial Center website, I'm sure they will let you know. I didn't see that in the email. So. Okay. Somehow involved in the. Okay, great. Thank you for that information. Appreciate it.
Just to repeat that for the people who are on the live stream, it does have to.
It does have to be a student, a staffer, or an alumni. It has to be involved in your team that's presenting. Okay?
Yep.
So this is a great place to connect with those people. Bring them on. And then lastly, if you parked in the parking garage, Rollins is very good. They do validate your parking, and we have parking stickers outside. So any other
the yellow pieces of
housekeeping?
paper, if you haven't seen them before, you just give them to them. If we run out of yellow pieces of paper, just grab one of our business cards, and they will let you out for free.
Yep. Any other housekeeping I missed?
I think that's it.
All right, without further ado, let's welcome Fresh Kitchen to the stage. There we are.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, got it. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I wish I could have been here a couple weeks ago, but I had to have an emergency surgery, so I'm all healed now, and we're going to talk a little bit about Fresh Kitchen. Have you ever had the opportunity or looking for fresh, healthy food but can't seem to find it on a consistent basis? Well, we've created a company that's a franchise, healthy franchise restaurant business that's good for you and can be found in many locations as we want to expand. I've been in the restaurant industry for over 30 years. My name is Tim Murphy. I'm the CEO and founder of Fresh Kitchen. I've been the CFO for the Central Florida Applebee's. I've been the CFO for Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue. I've consulted for a lot of companies. I've also worked for Disney, Darden, Denny's, and several others. We've created a concept of healthy, fast, casual food that's good for you and that tastes great. And it's not like a lot of other healthy food that's out there. I've spent, as I said, 30 years. I was mentored by one of the best mentors in the restaurant industry, Abe Gustin Jr., the former chairman, CEO of Applebee's. He built 100 Applebee's a year for 10 years straight. We built a concept that's on a healthier platform. Fresh Kitchen is a healthy alternative restaurant that's good food and good for you. We've spent several years testing and developing Fresh Kitchen. Fresh Kitchen is healthy food. It's good for you, but it's convenient and it's quick. It's GMO free, it's organic, it's low in sodium and adheres to the Diabetes and Healthy Heart Association's guidelines. We've found tremendous support with celebrities, with doctors, registered dietitians, athletes, and we look forward to your support as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. But before I do that, I want to reach out to, we've got 3 folks that are from Fresh Kitchen, Adam, Brandon, and Ken. If you just put your hand up. There's students here at Rollins College, and we've got about 30 team members in total, plus a lot of celebrities and a lot of advisors that's on board with us. We started with the premise of looking for something that's better for you. I've lost 40 pounds from running marathons, eating healthier. I've got about 40 more pounds I'd like to lose. In the restaurant industry for over 30 years, you start gaining some weight. You taste a lot of different food and you realize, hey, I gotta do something about it as I'm getting a little older. So it starts with obesity. Obesity, there's 69% of adults in America and 1/3 of the children are either overweight or obese, and by 2050, 1 in 3 people will be diabetic. There's over $2 trillion annually spent on obesity-related issues and growing. The biggest reason is unhealthy food. We can all say, well, it's our willpower. It's, I don't have to eat this stuff and so forth. But it is the food that we are consuming on a consistent basis that's not making us as healthy as we should be. So we've created, our solution to this problem is creating a healthy, fast, casual restaurant with over 300 to 600 calories, just only 300 to 600 calories per menu item, combining that with food, education, and exercise. We want to tie this with celebrities and cause-related marketing. We attract healthy eating market and become the leader in the health casual sector. It's a consumer demand that's out there, whether we want to close our eyes or not. This is not food trucks. This is not fast casual. This is an area that's a demand by our consumers. They're looking for fresher product, better products for you, things that can really help you out. And yet 71% of the adults are actually are ordering healthier food on an annual basis than they just did 2 years ago per the National Restaurant Association. So it takes menus. It takes lots of different menus. And how do we survive and how do we get out the different flavor profiles? Our menus have our salads, their wraps, their flatbreads. There's several different items. They're natural, organic, free of GMO, low in sodium. They're tasty menus that actually fill you up. When you're talking about 300 to 600 calories, it's a little different than saying eating at Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue where I worked before, where the plates are 2,000 to 4,000 calories each, or go to Applebee's and have a salad that's 1,200 to 1,800 calories. So you need food that's going to fill you up. It's going to have post-it nutritionals. We have 8 registered dietitians that's on board with us. We have menus for just about everyone, from vegan to vegetarian to office to children's and so forth. So how do we do this? We do this with our self-contained, eco-friendly units controlled by commissaries that control the product and the brand and the freshness of the product. We are also doing this with our cloud-based technology, and we want to put these in high-volume foot traffic areas like hospitals, universities, gyms, big box retail, airports. We can work with different folks out there in the Compass Center Plate and Aramark to get us in there. People come in, sit, and enjoy, or they just pick it up and take it with them. We can scale rather quickly because this is a franchise model. I've helped several companies build their franchise models, and this is what we're based off of. As I said, one of my mentors was Abe Gustin, who built over 100 Applebee's a year for 10 years straight. Starts with a commissary. That's how you buy and control the product. You chop up everything. You take where you need to take it out to the locations. Fresh product that's delivered rather quickly. We do with our delivery vehicles. We do with cloud-based technology. We know when we need product at each of these units. We put them in high-volume foot traffic areas like I talked about, hospitals, universities, colleges, and we use it in a small box. When I say a small box, it's a very small box. It's 8 feet wide by 40 feet long. So where does that come from? That comes from container vehicles. Container vehicles, we are recycling container vehicles. We can build a great concept. If you actually go onto our website, you can see an animation of our Fresh Kitchen model. We're talking, as I said, something that's 8 by 40 feet long, or we can make it 8 by 20 and just cut it off and be like a small little unit without the bathroom and without a little bit of dining. We have outside dining set up that we can use, and if we want to grow, we can put a second unit next to it and have more dining under air conditioning and heating. They're portable. They're self-contained. We've already beta tested the food and the equipment utilizing a different vehicle, not a food truck, but something similar. But we know that this can work, and we know that it's worked well. We did a $9.50 check average when we beta tested it. We also learned how to blow out generators, so that wasn't a good thing that happened with it. We want to be self-contained. It holds water, sewer, and we're hooked on 110 power with a converter to put us to 220 power. So we can do just about anything any other restaurant can do. We're half the cost of the world's largest competition, which is Subway. About $100,000 to $130,000 is the cost of our units. Our sales to investment ratio is 4 to 5 times that. The average industry sales to investment ratio is 1 to 1. So we're 4 to 5 times what that is. Subway is at 1.8 to 1. We're, again, 4 to 5 to 1. Our payback period is only 6 to 12 months. Traditional average in the industry is 3 to 7 years to pay back a restaurant. So we're substantially less, and 3 to 6 times faster than a Subway. We know that to make this really work and be successful with healthier food, it takes education. So with the education, it's about the whole individual. Everything from health to fitness to financial, and how we're going to pull this together is through webinars, utilizing our LCD screens on the side of it, applications on our website, and we partner with many service providers that can help provide some of the services, but we've also gone out and found a lot of cause-related folks that want to work with us, a lot of the celebrities that want to work with us. And we tie to educational experiences into our menus so people can learn about what they're eating, how they can help themselves better, how they can educate themselves more. It's basically eat less, move more. But bottom line is give them the tools to be successful with this, which you don't see in the restaurant industry. We've aligned ourselves with many great celebrities that are wanting to jump on board. We've signed up Rowdy Gaines. He's going to be our company spokesperson, 3-time gold medalist. We're working with the nutrition twins from CNN and Fox News. We're working with several different doctors, from Dr. David Katz, one of the top in the health and wellness field, to several registered dietitians, Olympians, Biggest Loser individuals that are coming on board with us. As I said earlier, 8 registered dietitians and several actors and actresses that we're starting to work with. We don't have them all under contract, but we're working on that. It takes a great motivated team to make this happen. We have over 30 individuals that's working with us in the Orlando area, several from Rollins College, some from UCF, senior individuals, former presidents of companies, lots of different companies. As I said, I spent over 30 years in the restaurant industry. We've got a great team. We're looking for more team members as well, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We put together some risk reducers. We're focused on the fast casual sector. Health movement is a movement. It is not a fad like food trucks and things of that nature along the lines. We're going after a market that's out there. We have flexibility. We have multiple menus. Not just one menu. We have about 15 different menus. Everything from cafe to Asian to Italian to Mexican and so forth. Our commissaries control the freshness, the product, and the brand. So we can control whether we're here in Orlando, whether in Houston, or we're in Seattle. Leadership with over 800 years of experience. It's a low entry point, as I talked about. $100,000, $130,000. The average Subway is $263,000. We're movable. If it doesn't work in a location, you pick up your investment, you go down the street. I've had to spend over $1 million moving restaurants, and this makes it that much easier to execute. We can build these in 1 to 3 weeks. The traditional restaurant takes 6 to 24 months to build. We're 4 to 5 times the sales investment ratio. What is that? Well, that means the investment you put in year 1 to what you're getting back out in by the end of the year, at the end of the 12 months, that's the investment that you're taking back out. The average in the industry is 1.0. Subway's a 1.8. We're going to be about a 4 to 5 to 1. 6 to 12 month payback versus the industry that's 3 to 7 years to get paid back. So what are we looking for? We're looking for investors. We're looking for other individuals that want to help promote us, from journalists to bloggers to editors to producers to get exposure. We've already been in 8 publications around the country. We're looking for some bigger exposure as well. We're looking for team members, advisors, celebrities, and we're also looking for joint ventures and future franchisees. We've already have about 80 locations that we believe we're going to get under contract rather quickly as a joint venture. Several people that want to take the Daytona market, South Orlando, Tampa, and so forth. So that's what we're looking for. That's our presentation. That's Fresh Kitchen. Can I take any questions for you?
Thank you. Please raise your hand with questions.
Hi, Tim. I'm Mike Shindama. How are you?
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent yourself.
In your presentation, and I also studied your website, I'm not sure the correlation of your competition being Subway. Why is it you would equate your service and product to Subway, which is not necessarily a very healthy environment?
True, and two reasons behind that. Actually, we have 2 sets of groups. One is a healthier product, but also what's the scalability of Subway. With 43,000 units and they build 3,500 a year, we modeled ourselves on how do we scale ourselves rather quickly. And that's why we focused on Subway from that point of view. Yes, their food is not as healthy. There's others that are out there, and we really don't see many other competitors, strong competitors in this market. There's some vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, and so forth. There's some healthier ones, say Nature's Table and so forth, that only do about $300,000 a year. They're different competitors, but we built the model so that we could scale rather quickly. We want to make this a win-win for franchisees when they come in. That's one thing that Abe Gusson taught me. It was how to really make the franchisee successful, and that's ultimately what we built the model on. So yes, we did focus on Subway, kind of not necessarily as a healthier product, but how their model works. But then we also looked at what's the other competitors and how that we can be successful with the education, nutritional information.
All right, my second question is, one of the areas that you'd like to focus on a location point of view would be hospital areas, yet every hospital at this point has ingrained cafeterias that have health bars and things of that nature. So why is it you feel that the personnel of those hospitals will walk outside the facility to visit yours versus staying inside?
Good question. We've talked to a lot of hospital personnel as well. They're always looking for something different. They're not all wanting to just stay within inside the building. They're looking for other alternatives within a close premise. I've also talked to a lot of hospital administrators that say they're still looking for other types of food. Even though they put in some of the healthier products, they still don't have. That's not their function. Their function is a hospital. It's not necessarily a restaurant and how they execute the food.
Hey, hi Tim, Ryan Lopez. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, I think you hit on a couple of points here. For people who are really into like what they're eating, the non-GMO and the organic is very important. One of my questions is about where the meat's coming from.
Excuse me, say that again?
Where the meat is coming from.
Sure.
That's an important question. I really like your idea about recycling the container units. I think that's pretty unique, and the fact that they're movable. One of the things that's happening in this space, specifically with this type of food, that I've seen, and also in the Orlando market, is the home food delivery model for this type of food. Do you see that as a potential partner or your competition?
Okay, first question is meat or products in general. Okay, we're working with several providers that are local farm to table type of providers. We also have a contract that's on the table we haven't finalized yet with Cisco, one of the world's largest distributors. 5-10 years ago, they wouldn't have had the organic products that we're looking for, but today they do. This contract is an equivalency of what McDonald's has for their contract. It's about 7.5% over cost. Most mom and pops spend between 12 and 20% over cost. We want to do that so that we've got something that we can take nationwide and really develop out. Regardless of what you see in the news about U.S. Foods, they're still the largest distributor. They're going to be at the end of the day, and that's a good product. However, that doesn't mean that we don't want to try to get as many locally grown things. Keep in mind, if you're in Idaho, you're not getting the product you might have in Florida, or Florida that you're going to have in Texas. So you're looking for as many of those products as you can still develop and get out there in distributors. As far as second question, sorry, what was the second question again?
The other services with the at-home food
yes.
delivery?
No, that's part of our model. I mean, the things that I'm talking about up here, you get the basic understanding. There's underneath of the corporate holding company, yes, there's the products, the locations, the menus. We have a technology side. We know in the restaurant space, there's not that much that has been patented in regards to technology for the restaurant business, from loyalty programs to online service, so forth. One of those is commissary. That's another revenue driver to us. I've been approached by a lot of executive chefs. I've been approached by a lot of other companies. We've actually just brought someone on board that did the e-diet for The Biggest Loser, which is home delivery of good quality products, on board with us, because we see that as another revenue stream as well to utilize the commissary. So we might partner with someone depending on the market we go to, but that is the premise of what we want to do with our commissaries. We want to be in 210 designated market areas in the United States, which rights for TV and radio order out of it as well.
Hi
Yes.
there. Hi. Go ahead. Hi, Paul Herman from Hip Investor. Is this live today?
No, it's not. We did have a beta that's up. We want to go live. We need capital. I've put in basically my life savings, but we have two different investment mechanisms that we're using. My attorney also helped create John Rivers, his financing and how it went through. So we're raising capital in that to get the next one back out. We want to put 6 in the corporate market, so we have both a debt and an equity component to this. So we will be out live. We want to be by UCF, then we want to be downtown Orlando and by the Florida Hospital next.
So how do you define your competitive advantage? Because I hear the menu, and if you're doing the menu, why not start with catering to generate cash flow? I hear the location, and you're saying you're better than a food truck, though I have some questions about the food safety of the containment there and the placemat, or is it the celebrity? So, like, which of these are your competitive advantage? Because you're trying to do 2 or maybe 3 things at once.
Good question. Our competitive advantage starts with the food, the proprietary food, how we've put this together. We have some secret sauces and some different items, how we utilize these units, how we deploy the units, the technology that we're putting in. It is a combination of all these different items. I went back and said, okay, I want to make sure that we get enough visibility with celebrities as well. Yes, we brought them on board for specific reasons so that we can get our message out there a lot easier and a lot faster, and people gravitate towards it, followers and so forth. But our competitive advantage is in the food, is in the units, is in the technology, is in the commissaries, and how we roll this out. It takes all those pieces there to create our difference and what we're going to be able to supply to the franchisee. Another issue too is also real estate. I'm a commercial real estate broker, both at Applebee's and Sonny's. I'd find the dirt, CFO get the money, I build the location. We're partnering with different groups out there that will go out and find us longer term contracts. We want to be able to provide real estate to our franchisees so they can be successful from day one in high volume foot traffic areas. Where this came from, I was approached by Sodexo, $21 billion food service business, and wanted me to replace all the hot dog carts in front of Lowe's. They wanted something healthier for the big box. We also know from that experience and what we learned on the actual financials of each of those hot dog carts, they make a lot of money. And so how do we go out and find those? Well, we're partnering with different real estate, commercial real estate brokers that will find us the real estate for our franchisees and also for us. That's the longer term growth strategy.
All right, so sorry, and then last question, if you have a chart for this, is there comparative economics of this retail site versus a Subway or others, and I didn't see any economics on your model.
Okay. And we can get into a lot. If you guys want to connect afterwards to get
I've
into a lot
got
of
more
the
that I can
details
break
too.
down, obviously, from this, but that's the start of the competitive advantage of where we're at of $100,000 or $130,000 all in for an investment versus what Subway, McDonald's is. We broke it down for the cost, and we broke it down for the profitability and their annual sales. So I can show you that on the side. Sorry.
I think we're done there.
You said something I thought about the content and the educational side of it from my
Absolutely, absolutely. As I got involved in running, as I got involved in losing weight, I realized there's very little areas to go to unless you find an expert and so forth. We brought part of what our registered dietitians are doing. I was also building a educational program that we can teach people in snippets that people can take home with them, whether they're webinars, we want to put on a seminar to people on what they're doing. They learn how to eat better, they learn how to exercise, but then when they go back out in the real world, now what do I do and how do I act? So that's what we're tying in together. Ultimately, we'll tie into apps that we're going to have in the program as well. But bottom line is, yes, that's a critical piece of it and how we get out there, because we want to be the place that people go to and say, instead of caring about selling you more food, I care about your health. I want you to be better. Yeah, of course, as a capitalist, I want you to eat at our locations. But bottom line is I want to be able to give you the tools and teach you how to go out there and know how to exercise and how to eat better when you go somewhere else. Thank you. Yes.
Hi. Great presentation. Did I understand that you currently have no franchises?
That's correct. No, we don't have a franchise. This is a franchise model.
Okay. So my question, and I mean this in a very positive way, with all that you've got going, why aren't you farther along?
Well, it's a great question. Part of it was team getting us to this point. In the past 6 months of what we've been able to accomplish, we're now ready to go and go out there live. We've really just, in the past few weeks, really just started hitting. We just had our first presentation and food sampling just a few weeks ago. We're about to do another one later this month. So getting back onto it, we've gotten through everything that we feel comfortable with, that we know we can go forward with the units, the boxes, the food, how we deliver, how we execute. So to answer your question is, that had to be done to get us to this point, to know where we're going to stand with this going forward, that we can create that profitability. Do we want to be out there tomorrow? Absolutely. Do we want to be there yesterday? Absolutely. That's our goal. Good question.
Wait, the last question's over
Tim?
Yes.
All right. So let's say I own dirt and it's near UCF and I wanted one of these as sitting there. From the time I meet with you, sign your program, and we officially contract, from that time till it opens, what's your estimated time for build out, placement, whole 9 yards? How quick could I do this? Could I do it in under 90 days? Could I do it under 60 days? Theoretically, if it's a container, I should be able to do it in under 30. So I want to know how quickly I could do this, because it's all about, that instant explosion.
Speed to revenue.
Correct.
Speed to revenue has been our focus on how we build this out for not only ourselves, but for franchisees. To answer your question, it'd be about 45 to 75 days. The biggest holdup is not really the unit or getting the food to the unit. The biggest holdup is state licensing. State licensing will take about 45 days. Training and getting this thing running, that's why we say somewhere between 45 and 75 days. We can build these units. The first one is going to take us 4 weeks, as what we already know we're going to go through, but we also know that cycle can be pushed down to about 1 to 3 weeks per the manufacturer that we're working with. It's also a team member of ours. But to answer your question, 45 to 75 days. That's how quickly we can get to speed, versus a restaurant that takes 6 to 24 months. Good question.
And we're going to cut off the questions right there. Feel free to approach the presenters afterwards and ask questions. We'll all be sticking around. Again, our ask of you is, what can the community do for you?
I'm looking for investors. I'm looking for people that can help get us the exposure we're looking for. We're looking for other team members. We're looking for other advisors that want to join us. We do have quite a few advisors, former presidents of companies. We're looking for celebrities, additional celebrities. We're looking for people that might want to become a joint venture, that might want to be a future franchisee of ours, because that's the direction that we're going with it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Fresh Kitchen, everybody.
Just put in the pocket.
I just want to thank everybody for attending this week's 1 Million Cups. Want to encourage you to stick around afterwards, finish all our coffee, network, ask more follow-up questions. And next week, please bring friends. We benefit from the network effects of more people being here. So while we love people coming on the live stream, you don't get the network unless you're actually here. So please come and bring friends next week. Look forward to seeing everyone then. Thanks a lot.